Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 41 of Tour of Japan, the review series for the JGTC or JPGT cars of Gran Turismo 6. And in this episode we're featuring what is probably my personal favourite version of the Nissan Skyline JGTC machine that's featured currently on the game. It's the year 2000 Team Loctite Zexel GT-R. This is an R34, fairly obviously, as all of the other Skylines currently are, apart from, of course, the R35 GT-R. And it's a pretty good car, to say the least. Now, all of the GT-Rs are very strong GT500 machines. Most people know that. But this car is, alongside the Celsonic Skyline, the most torquey engine of any of the Skylines at a massive 961 pound-feet of torque. It also puts out over 900 horsepower, sits at 658 pp, which is pretty high for a Skyline, and produces well over 800 horsepower per tonne. It's actually over 820. And all of that for just 750,000 credits, which isn't cheap, but that is significantly more affordable than many of the newer GTRs, many of the NSXs, the HSVs, etc. So is it as good a deal as it seems to be? Does the car actually live up to that spec? Because it has pretty much an identical spec sheet as the Celsonic. And the Celsonic is a majorly iconic car of the Gran Turismo series and of the Super GT in real life. And it's known for being a very good car. So is this as good as that? Well, put simply, yes. It is as good as the Celsonic. Not necessarily better or worse, at least as good. Now, personally, the reason why I like this car so much is because it has the best all-round spec of any, or pretty much any of the Skylines, but it has a paint scheme which I personally prefer. I like the livery on this car. I would say that overall this and the Denso Sard Supra are probably my two favourite liveries in the game, mainly because they consist of predominantly red and white colouring, which is of course the colours of my channel. Now, in terms of what it's actually capable of, this is one of the more powerful and more torquey, as I already mentioned, models of the Skyline. So, as you'd expect, the performance is very, very strong in a straight line. Great acceleration, not only off the line, but through its entire performance range. Mid-range especially, depending on the turbo, of course. The Skyline is one of the best Super GT cars you can get, if not the best, for mid-range acceleration. As far as top-end performance, it's not quite on the same level as an R35, which tend to do around 240-ish. This car can do around 230, 235, so it's not far behind, but as I've mentioned before in the series, there aren't that many circuits where you can actually use that kind of speed anyway. But it's nice to know that you have it if it's needed. As already mentioned, its acceleration is very strong throughout the entire range. Its torque delivery is massive and very smooth, actually. It's not peaky, or it doesn't feel peaky at all when you're driving it. It's very smooth and very relentless through its entire acceleration range. Again, depending on the turbo, of course. Overall, it's a very good car, and the fact that it costs 750,000 just makes it even better. The only downside, really, to any of the R34 Super GT cars is that none of them are currently premium, which is a shame, but I think that that will probably be addressed in the future based on Gran Turismo and Polyphony's relationship with Nissan and with the Skyline. It's kind of surprising, actually, that none of them are premium already, considering how important the Skyline has been throughout the entire Gran Turismo franchise. But for whatever reason, it's not yet. And hopefully it will be in the future for those of us who do love the Skyline. Now, as far as whether you should choose a Skyline over any other particular Super GT car, because as I've mentioned in other episodes, they're all good and they're all capable of winning, I would suggest using the Skyline of this particular generation, not just the Loctite, but any of the R34s, on tracks which require more mid-range and top-end acceleration. Because although the Skyline is very good on pretty much any track that you will take a Super GT car on, it's at its best advantage on more open circuits, such as here at Suzuka, Motegi, tracks like that where you can really use all that power and torque. Not that it's bad on tight twisty tracks such as Tsukuba, but it just feels kind of a waste to have all that performance when you can't really use it. Because although, as I said, the acceleration on this car is very strong, on a track like Tsukuba you can't really use it to much of an advantage, because as soon as you get up to speed you're at another corner. So on Tsukuba or similar tracks, I would not necessarily recommend always using a GT-R. Keep an open mind as to other models, but on wide open tracks it's an excellent choice to go for. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.